Voices are heard, and the real starts here. The real starts here. The real starts here. No filter, no fear. Truth in the mic, let the whole world hear. Stories unfold, voices sincere. Welcome to the place where the real starts here. From life and love to the latest news. Community voices, different views. Breaking it down so we all stay clear. Honest conversations live right here. Speak your truth, let it be known. This is the space where your voice has a home. No judgment here, just real and clear. Real talk with Tamara, the real starts here. Real talk with Tamara. Real people. Real stories. Real truth.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. How are you all doing? How is everybody doing? You guys, I'm sorry that I'm late. I was trying to eat me a little something. Y'all, tonight we're going to have Mr. Ian on. He's going to be a guest. He'll be coming up shortly. In the meantime, you guys, when he comes on, we're going to talk about a plethora of stuff. It's so many trials going on. Keefe D trial started today. Dirk's trial is going to start on Thursday. And Trayon Ingram's trial starts September the 1st. His trial is going to start September the 1st. And I don't think that it's going to be televised because they've kept everything a secret, basically, as it relates to their trial. Hell, they didn't even televise when it was going to start. So, hopefully somebody like True Results can go down there and get some footage. Who is in here? I see Angel, the real boss. Chocolate. It just says user JY7. Kawana, Blackout, Little Miss Muffin, Pumpkin Poo, or just Pumpkin. It's others in here in the bushes. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Be quiet. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all what I did while we just talk, just do a little short talk, waiting on Mr. Ian to come up. He said he'll be up in 5 minutes. Last night, I told y'all I wanted some green beans, right? So, of course, y'all know I like spicy stuff, so I seasoned them up really good. I chopped up a habanero and put it in there, and I was getting ready to put a hog maw in there. Okay, I ain't gonna even lie, I did. But then I saw, I was like, dog, I got this big old turkey leg in the freezer. Yeah, I put the smoked turkey leg in there. These green beans are so good. Oh my God. These things are so good. It almost tastes like my mama's. My mama would never make her green beans this spicy. She would never put a habanero in her green bean. I like spicy food. Hey, Dub JJ. We're going to have a good show tonight. Y'all know Mr. Ian like to talk about a lot of topics. Yeah, I keep forgetting Steven being the bushes. Y'all know Steven is a trainer. Steven is a trainer, and he be talking about healthy stuff to eat on his show. He be in the bushes when I be talking about some of this stuff I be eating. The green beans healthy. The smoked turkey leg healthy. Yeah, make sure you all hit the like button. Okay, y'all, I'm done eating. I put a little something on my stomach. I had not eaten today. So that's why it's good to cook at home. It seems like when I stop and get something to eat out now, I get nauseated. I cook my own food. Therefore, I know when I eat my chicken, I cook it, I bake it or grill it, I soak my chicken in vinegar. I let my chicken sit in vinegar and soak it. Really, all my meat, really. Okay. But anyways, you guys, as I was saying, there are a lot of trials that's going on. It seems like they're all started at the same time. And like I said, it's enough content for everybody to be able to do their own do content, have their own perspectives. Everybody is going to when you're vlogging on trials and situations like that. I think sometimes people get bent out of shape because they'll go, "Oh, you copied off of me, you stole my content." I mean, when you're vlogging on a trial, everybody is basically going to have the same content. So, I mean, because you're talking about the trial, is from your perspective, and your viewers may have um perspective as it relates to the trial, but I mean, it's gonna be the same basically. Everybody, runs their stuff a little, it runs their stuff differently. Hey, Michelle, how you doing? You doing okay? So yeah. Yeah, so like I said, everybody runs their stuff a little differently. I am definitely interested in the Dirk trial. I'm interested in seeing if Dirk is going to be able to get out of this. It seems like to me they constantly hitting Dirk with superseding indictments. Like I think Dirk got a situation in California as well as in Chicago. Even if he get out of what's going on in Chicago, I don't know if he's going to be able to get out of this situation. And I don't think he's going to be able to get out of the situation in California because everything is kind of, directing, leading right back to him. So, with that being said, that's going to be interesting. And his trial starts on um, Thursday. I'm more interested in that than I am in Keefe D trial because I'm gonna tell y'all something with Keefe D was just stupid. He's still sitting up in there looking like a deer in headlights. Even the guy, I forget the police officer that used to be with Compton Police. I forget his name. They say he's in a wheelchair now. They said he was telling him, please stop talking, stop talking. You're forcing them to have to do something. They didn't want to have to do anything. They knew the whole time what had happened to Tupac. He said he was telling him to stop. He said he was wearing t-shirts. He thought he was trolling him, telling him to stop talking because the folks was going to come and get him. He said they basically didn't want to do anything, but he kept talking and he forced them to do something. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I guess now since they got to spend money, I don't know if he's going to get on the stand. Okay. He pleaded not guilty. I guess now since they got to spend money. Hey, Rayford, since they got to spend money and stuff, they might hang him on the cross for a little while. So, he never said that he shot Tupac, but I believe he said that Puffy had wanted to pay them. Puffy paid him $1 million that they never got, or something like that. That's weird. Yeah, that's weird within itself. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Yeah, that's weird within itself. So that will be an interesting trial, but I think Dirk's trial, I don't Dirk is Dirk in federal court. Dirk's trial is a federal trial, is it? Because if it's federal, they're not going to televise it. I think his stuff might be federal. Okay, yeah. It won't be televised. I mean, it's gonna have to be some bloggers to go travel out to California. And I don't see like the vloggers like in California, places like that, even talking about Dirk stuff. Never have. So I don't think they're gonna go because I don't think they're that interested. But some of these southern, vloggers might be, or up north, I haven't heard anybody say that they're gonna go to the trial. I don't think it's gonna be that many people out there. So it'd be easy to get in there and sit up in there, I believe. Now, when he goes to trial in Chicago, whenever that is, it might be, depending on what happens in LA. He may not even get a date set to go to trial in Chicago. So I wonder how long that trial is going to last. I wonder how long that's going to last, because I was looking at Trenches News today. I think they're trying to hit him with something else. So everybody has turned on him. All those guys that he was giving all of that money to be crash dummies and all of that, hey, they basically have turned on him, which is expected, because they understand what's going on. Even though they committed these acts, they understand that the feds want Dirk, because Dirk was the one that was pushing out the money. So they, I'm sure he has put out a lot of money in attorney's fees and all of that. And I think people, I don't know. I think people are they have mixed feelings about Dirk. And believe it or not, before I went to the get my went to the hair salon today, this morning, I was doing a video on Dirk in his case, a pre-recorded video, and then somebody called in and I cut it off, and I was in a hurry, so I just didn't go back to it. But a lot of people, say that they got mixed feelings about this situation with Dirk. I followed that situation closely. Like I guess after it happened with FBG Duck. Okay. I always felt like he was involved with what happened with FBG Cash. And they interviewed Duck's mother probably a couple of months ago. A few people knew where Cash mother lived. He said that she said that Cash's mother said that Cash called her on the phone right before he was killed and said, "Open the door." That's how close he was to her house. That's the reason why she got up there so quick. So yeah, I could tell the way she talks, she feel like Dirk them was involved. But of course, remember Dirk did that verse and he was saying, if you don't believe me, if you don't believe me, you're gonna see they're gonna find you under that tree. Yeah, Dirk is like Gotti. I was saying that he's definitely like Gotti. The only difference in Dirk and Gotti is that Gotti always had like his brother to be the go between with a lot of those street guys. He didn't necessarily have to really deal with them. He always had a bunch of send outs around him that wanted to, that even now that wants to be around him, that he could, go to and have them to scatter out and go and do things for him. Okay. Dirk was, for some reason or another, Dirk was he was a in direct contact with those dudes. All of those hitmen, all of those crash dummies that he was giving money to, Dirk was right in the midst of that. You saw him on live. He hung out with them. He just had a gutter mentality, and I always had believed that he killed Cash. Um, I believe that he paid for Duck to be killed. I believe that he wanted that. He wanted for Duck to be killed because I think um, Duck had a chance of really. Duck was going to be a star. Duck was very versatile with how he could rap. He had a big presence. He could have crossed over and did country or did features on country records and stuff. So I think he was a threat. They always dissed at each other, but they didn't want Duck dead until Duck signed that deal. I think they knew at that point if he ever got a foothold. I don't think Dirk wanted any of his opposition really blowing up. So if I believe that Dirk and Von and all of them were terrorists. Dirk had, got a lot of money. He didn't have to wallow in the sewer like he was doing. And so if you ask me, do I believe that he should be? Yes, I think he should pay for those crimes. He paid. Evidently, he didn't know what to do with the money. When he started getting that kind of money, he didn't know what to do with it other than pay for his. So yeah, I mean, he got to pay for his crimes. So you know, those dudes, I mean, they got to pay for theirs too. But I would say that Dirk, I don't think they would have been out there going at doing as much as they did if they were not being funded. Okay, if they were not being funded. So um evidently, I mean, it was strictly money motivated because if they wanted to get some get back for Von and they was truly down for Von, they never would have brought Dirk in it. I mean, even getting caught. No, I did this, for my own man's. I mean, I was on my get back. I want to get back for Von. Why bring, why tell on Dirk? So yeah, it was definitely strictly about the money. And I don't even really think Dirk gave a damn about Von being dead. If you ask me, I think Dirk felt pressured to do it because he always had those people in his on his in his chat and stuff, his fans talking about you ain't gonna get your get back for Von. I don't think he was bothered about it, but I think if people had started saying it so much, he felt like, well, I don't want to look bad, so that's why he did it. Okay, that's why he did it, but he's done a lot of other stuff too. So maybe if Since he didn't know what to do, he got the opportunity that a lot of the people in Chicago that grew up in that Chicago inner city don't get, and he became a millionaire, and he still didn't know what to do. He could not take himself out of the gutter. And so because he felt like his money was to the money that he had gotten, okay, um, that he had amassed, I guess, since he felt like it was to commit genocide. Hey, I don't see nothing wrong with the lawyers getting it. The lawyers and the government draining him, okay? Because he is a swamp. That's why they call it a swamp. Is he's the money comes from murky, dirty water, okay? Murky, dirty water, and he was the source of that. So yes, they need to drain it since he didn't know what to do. Duck has a new album out. I gotta listen to that. I do. I gotta listen to that. Dirk did a I mean Duck did a song. He did a remix of Von's song, Exposing Me. And him and Ruga really they went in. They really did. They brought life to it. You know, like I said, they had always dissed each other, but it seems like now that he signed a deal in which Cash stepfather messed him up. And you know, Trench's News said that Cash's mother was so heartbroken after that happened to Cash. She died. He said he said she died behind that, you know, because remember she was one of the first people out there. She said she heard the shots. That's how close he was. Like I said, Duck's mom said in the interview I was looking at today, she said his mama said he told her mama open the door. So he was right there. That's the reason why they wanted, they knew how close he was getting to home, I guess, you know. So I always believe that he had something to do with it, and then he basically said that he had something to do with it because the guy said, "You know, we did it." So the same guys that's now testifying against him, ain't that something? The same guys that was sitting beside him laughing and talking about, you know, we did it. The same guys that's gonna get on the stand and testify against him. So y'all hold on. Okay, y'all, that was my grandbaby. Thank you for the jewels. I don't know why my grandbaby want to call me. She called me Pookie Butt. She changed my name totally to Pookie Butt. I don't know why. Pookie Butt. Um, he said Dirk talks too much. Yeah, Dirk basically wanted I guess that has a lot to do with the age difference. Also, well, I don't know. Because I think after Dolph was killed, Gotti wanted for people to know they were involved. Because remember now, he was doing quite a bit of talking, uh, putting out subliminals, talking about I'm the last man standing and um all of that. Remember? Y'all, they did my braids today. They messed my head up so bad. I'm going back. And they gonna fix these braids because I don't have no big parts in my head. I get mad every time. I just looked at it when my phone rang. My FaceTime came up, and I got reminded of sitting there. And I told them I don't like no big damn parts. They want to charge all their money, and so I'm going back and I'm making them fix it tomorrow. And that makes me mad because I gotta go back. Um, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Make sure y'all hit the like button. We still waiting on Mr. N. It makes me so damn mad. I don't know what to do. And when I get there tomorrow, I'm gonna tell them about themselves some more. Because that's a waste of my time. My life is important. I don't have time to be going back, letting somebody correct something that they were supposed to do the first time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find me another damn braider. Y'all make sure y'all get the likes up. I have to calm myself down because when I get mad, I be stuck on stuff. Because I don't like that. We pay these Africans a lot of money to braid our hair. I told her one time before, I said, I do not, you left and you let your niece and your daughter braid my hair. And they put big parts in my hair. I don't want that happening again. Oh, it won't happen again. It won't happen. Have been doing good. She was in there today. She put a damn niece and a sister on my head. And I noticed the niece got finished quick. I said, oh, okay, you finished real quick. Yes, I'm gone. She did the front. And I started feeling my hair when they said, oh, I'm finished. I was like, dog, it feel real thin. That's because they got the parts real big. I supposed to be walking around with a skate's head after what I just paid them. This was, oh, come back tomorrow. I'll fix it. I said, I told you that this could not happen again. I've been coming to you all these years. I told you it couldn't happen anymore. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to do it. I said, you supposed to do it today. You think I got my time is allotted to just sit up in a damn shop, a braiding shop? I tried to leave and go to another shop one time before. When I left, I went to a shop on Winchester. And when I left out of that, I was itching. So I said, Lord, I can't go back up in there. I I I tried to go to this lady do braids on Rains. She do them out of her house. And I saw a big rat come out the closet and almost passed out. I said, I can't go back up in them folks' house. I almost passed out. I just want to be left alone. I'm just not gonna go back to the Africans because I'm real mad. But she gonna fix my head. But she gonna know tomorrow that she lost a client. Because how you gonna have me as your client and you sitting up on somebody else's damn head and I'm your client and you let them do my hair? Anyway, y'all, I don't want to talk about it because I get upset. Y'all know how I be getting. Y'all know how my mind is. I get upset, I go on and on and on. I don't want to think about it, but I can't help it. Every time I feel my hair, I rub my hands through my braids. I get real mad because it ain't hardly none. They thin. I took 4 packages of hair and I forgot to get the rest of the hair. They're gonna put it up on their wall and sell it. She was mad then she had the nerve to say when I came out there, why your hair out of the package? I said, I told you I boiled that hair. I'm not putting no hair in my head. I'm gonna boil it first. I don't know where that hair being. It's got to be boiled. Let me see what Mr. N at. I need to change the subject before my mind. I don't want to take my mind to the gutter. Anyways, you guys, y'all, Mr. N is coming on tonight. He's running behind, but he'll be on in just a minute. He had already told me that he was going to be running behind, so yeah, the way they talk about, yeah. Okay, he said he'll be on in just a minute. Yeah, that's the reason why I boil it. All the hair that I buy, it's not my hair. I boil it. I don't know where it come from. It's got to be boiled to kill anything that's on it. Dip it in boil the water and dip it in there. Sometimes I just let it sit in there for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then I take it and let it dry. Let it air dry. I guess I'm supposed to take the hair out the package and let them put it in my head. Put spray vinegar on it. I'm not gonna have my hair smelling like no vinegar. Vinegar kill. I said no. Hot boiling water will kill anything. I don't want no vinegar. I don't want my head smelling like vinegar. Got my head looking skates. All that hair I had. You gonna so they can get through and they charge me what they charge me. Ooh. Oh Lord, I can't wait to get on the prayer line in the morning because that spirit is trying to get on me to act out. That spirit want me to act out. Whew. Then she gonna walk her big stomach out of there, her niece, big old gut. Gonna walk up out of there, gonna finish my head. I'm finished. I'm gone. Lady, you got these big parts in my head. Lord, forgive me for calling her big gut. Lord. I can't even put my hair up in no ponytail. It just ain't gonna look right. Y'all, it's so thin. It's so thin. It's ridiculous. She gonna fix it too. She thought I wasn't gonna come back. She thought I was gonna say, no, I'll just wait until the next time. No, I'm going back, I'm making her fix it. And she better fix it quick. She better have some more folks up in there that know how to do it right, because I'm not going to sit there all night. It's so thin, I can't even put it in a ponytail. It don't even look right going back in a ponytail. These big parts, I'd be too shamed. Looking at nothing but scalp. Then the color. Now, everybody get color in their hair, like highlights. I like highlights. How about the niece put the highlights in the back? What kind of sense do that make? Everybody knows the color goes in the front. The highlight goes in the front. Why would she put my hair in the back? Why would she put the color in the back, y'all? Why she do that? Ooh. Mm. As my dad said, as my dad was saying, ain't no need even talking about it now. It's done. What you gonna do about it? I'm gonna go back and make her do my hair over. Ugh, and I don't want to sit. Oh, that's the type of stuff. That's what's making me mad. Y'all know how long it takes. You have to sit there when you get braids. I gotta go back and let her do my hair right. I just paid her $240. Anyways, then it ain't even good to be having your hair pulled on like that. Like, my scalp is already tender right now. Then the niece was pulling on my hair. I said, listen, I said, man, wait. Let me just say this. I want my edges. Don't pull my hair like that. Lady, you pulling on that made me. I'm gonna leave it alone. It ain't nothing to do but go back and let them fix it. That's all I can do. That's the only thing I can do, and not go back. I won't. She lost the customer. I'm not going back to her. I got to find a African shop. See, that some of these African shops, you walk up in there, I don't know what they have up in there. I think it'd be all that hair, all of that synthetic hair. I got allergies and I get to itching. I can't go. That one on Winchester, I can't go back up in there. And then I went to one on Winchester, all the way down by Winchester and um, I believe it was like around Winchester and Knight Arnold. And the bathroom, I I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't do that. I can't do it. I wish that I could go to somebody, a young lady but I'm not going up in nobody's house though. Yes, new to you, but I'm not going up in nobody's house. You know, it's a lot of young ladies that can do braids too. That's not from Africa. But I'm not going up in their house so they can be blowing weed and stuff all in my head and face. Um, they need to get in a shop. They need to get their butts in the shop and work, and then they can get more customers. It's a lot of girls that know how to do hair. Like, it's get ready to get cool. So I'm gonna be going back to my extensions. I be looking at so many girls on Facebook that knows how to do and cut hair so good, but they be standing at home over their stove. Now, for those who know them, that's fine. You know, they don't have no issues, but I'm not going up in nobody's house. I just don't. I have issues with going in people's houses. It's just a phobia, because you might not know how to get. You might not know. You don't know the layout of their house. You don't know if they got booby traps up in their house. Like, that's. I mean, it's serious. I know that's overthinking it, but people need to think like that. I told y'all about when I was out in the private sector, when I was doing private investigative work. This rich white guy had called me, and he called me. He was like, I want to hire a private investigator, and I could have really got him, but I didn't. He said, how much is that? Like $1,000 an hour? I said, no, it's not $1,000 an hour. I could have got him for $1,000 a day, but I didn't do it. I had integrity. And so he had a lot of homes. He had a lot of houses. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what kind of businesses he had, but he owned. There's a county in Mississippi, okay, and I think him and his dad owned almost every house in. I can safely say that they owned almost the whole little city, and he wanted me to do some work. He wanted me to see something. I'm not gonna say what it was, but he wanted me to see something. And so he was like, well, can you meet me? I said, yeah. Because he said, where's your office at? I said, in Whitehaven. He said, I'm not sure. He said, well, I may have gone through Whitehaven a few times, going to my properties. I said, you probably did. And so he was like, well, is it possible for you to meet me? My office is close to my house. I said, yeah, I ain't had no issues with going to get the check. I normally don't do that. So anyways, he was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you at the store if you're uncomfortable. And so we got to the store by his house. He was like, oh, he says, I'm going to be in my Escalade. And I was looking out there. I got out there and I didn't see no Escalade. He said, oh, I forgot. I'm not in my Escalade. I'm in my Suburban or whatever it was. Tahoe. That's what it was. I said, okay. He was like, my house is up the street. Would you just trail me? I forgot the check. I said to myself, I said, now I don't want to have to down this white man. And I was looking at him. I said, well, he looked like he'll buck 5 pounds. But then he looked like Jeffrey Dahmer too. So anyways, I was like, yeah, I trail you. I had my weapon with me. And so anyways, he was like, so anyways, I trailed him. It was like right up the street. So then I followed behind him. We went like behind these, like we started going through like this, almost like this trail. And it was a lot of trees, and then the gate opened. We waited for the gate to open. The gate opened, and oh my God, when the gate opened, it was just like the pearly. I'm telling you, though every house back there, I had not seen. I said, so I mean, they actually every house there had a boat sitting behind the house. Here, my right hand to the Lord. So when I got out, I was like, wow. It's beautiful back here. I said, I would never have known. I said, okay. That was Mr. N. He said he'll be up in 10 minutes. I said, dog, I would never have known these homes were back here. I said, every house got a boat. He was like, yeah, I got a boat. I got one because I didn't want to be just because everybody else got one. I was like, it is so beautiful. He was like, well, you and some of your friends can come sometimes and get on the boat. I guess he was just being nice. So anyways, he was like, oh, the check is in the house. Come on. You want to go in? I said, no, sir. No, sir. And I mean, the house was gorgeous. And I said that to say this: anybody else would have probably been ran to go in that house. Ooh, look at this big man. Like, it was beautiful. I said, no, sir. I said, can I go in your backyard? Because I knew if I couldn't go for that car, I'd rather had jumped in the boat and took off. The key was sitting in it. And tried to drive the boat or something. I wasn't going up in that in that big house. You don't know what people got in their houses. You don't know the layout. You don't know if they got some type of traps. You can't go in people's houses. So, anyways, I said, no, sir. I'll stand out here. I said, can I go in your backyard? That's how I played it off. I said, because I like your boat. Oh yeah, go on. So he came back out and he was writing the check and stuff in the backyard. And so he said, I said, your house is so beautiful. He's like, yeah, you see this house right next door to me? I said, yeah. He said, the CEO of Campbell's Noodle Soup, Campbell's, he lives right there. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. I said, I never would have thought that the CEO of Campbell's Chicken Noodle Soup lived around, because he didn't live in Memphis. He lived on the outskirts of Memphis. And it wasn't in no Cordova or nothing like that. Okay. And I said, I never would have thought that he said he gives so much soup. He said, so, during like the summer months, we have the community has a yard sale, and he basically sits out a lot of the Camel noodle soups and just give them away. I said, well, you gonna have to give me some of those soups. He said, yeah, I get you some soups. And then he says, you remember the owner, the Cry Like owners? I said, yeah. He says, so Dick Like lives like right there in that house right there. I don't know if he's still alive. And he named a couple more people. I was like, wow. Like, yeah, I said, it's really beautiful back here. But no, I just don't go in. He was really nice though. He would call me like because he was suffering with some type of muscle disease too, like where his muscles and stuff. So he would call and he liked talking about politics and stuff like that. And so he would sometimes he was like, you're so comforting. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed talking to him because he had a wealth of knowledge. He was telling me about real estate, and he says, I'm going to I never touched bases with him again after I stopped working for him, because he said, I told my dad that I was going to write out everything and give you the blueprint on how you get the real estate. Because he was saying that like one of those houses in their community had went up for foreclosure. He said it went up for foreclosure, and I kept waiting for it to go down, because when you don't, nobody nobody gets it, it goes down more and more. He said, so guess how much the house was? He said, when it went into foreclosure, y'all, this was like a big mansion. He said it was like 100 and something, almost 200,000. He said, I wanted to get it at 100,000. Now you talking about some rich people. And he was sitting up. I said, are you saying that this house was almost 200,000? Yeah, it went into foreclosure. He said it had been sitting there for a couple months. So you're able to call the bank and kind of do like a bidding war. I mean, he said it was still more than what the bank, the bank would have, he still would have been giving the bank more than what it was worth. I was like, is there anything wrong on the inside? No, nothing is wrong. So he said, I was going to wait another month because I wanted the bank to sell it to me. I was going to try to get it for 100,000. He says, and guess what? A family bought the house, and guess how much they paid for it? I said, what? He said $900 and something thousand when I almost had it at almost 200,000. But that's what him and his dad does. They done almost bought almost all of a city in Mississippi. All of them houses, they own. They buy them, and they making them into I forget what it's called, like rooming houses or something. That's what they do. I guess I'll touch bases with them to see and ask him. You remember you said that you was going to show me the blueprint But that guy was really he really would have real bad muscle spasms, and it was just really sad. He was so skinny and little. But like I said, he had that cap on, he had that black hair and stuff. I said, "Oh God, he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm gonna have to go ahead and kill this man." But he was really just a nice, easygoing guy. He really was. He seemed to be, anyways. But I got to thinking, I was like, "Dog, why would that man invite me in his house?" Y'all know how my mind go. I was like, did he want to try to? I don't know what I'm talking. I get to thinking about, that movie Get Out. But now I don't go in people's houses. I tell my kids that all the time. Stop going and do not go in folks' houses. You don't know what people got in their houses, and then you don't know the layout. If they get in there and get to acting crazy, you don't know the layout of that house. You don't know where to go and get no knives. You don't know. You don't know how to get out. You don't know the entrance point. Entrance point. You don't know nothing. So it's just best not to go up in there. The exit point, rather. Y'all, we still waiting on Mr. N. He just texted me and says that he'll be up. He said he's almost home. So that was 7 minutes ago. And so 7 minutes ago, he said he'll be home in 10 to 12 minutes. And so that was 7 minutes ago. So I guess he'll be home in like 3 more minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you got out to see. Oh yes, for absolutely new to you because yeah, I was living in Walls, and believe it or not, Walls is going up, but it's a lot of the how am I trying to put it? Like they're putting up a lot of houses and stuff, building a lot of homes and stuff in Walls, Mississippi. It's okay. It's nice. Um it is. Even though I was just a skip and a hop from Memphis, I still wanted to be. I don't know why. I just still wanted to be in Memphis for some reason. Okay, he says setting up now, so I guess he get ready to come up. I still want to be in Memphis. I think about it sometimes. I was like, dog, like at least with the mm, we're gonna pray for the Memphis Police Department to come back around. What they're gonna have to do is go through though and get all of those corrupt police officers out. They've gotten a lot of them on now. When they drop the criteria, but you'd be surprised of some of the ones that have been on for a long time that's doing unethical things that they should not be doing. So I think it's going to have to be a purging of that, and not by forcing them into retirement or firing them. They're going to need to indict them because that's the only way you clean out a police department. You start indicting, you get the feds to do undercover sting, and once you find that they have been doing unethical things and violating laws and policies, you indict them. That's how you deter the rest of them from doing it. Hell, they don't know their ass is gonna have to go sit up there in federal prison, and don't nobody in federal prison like no ex-police officer. So that would be a deterrence for real. Hell, and the majority of them gang members, and so they don't want to be no ex-police officer that is a gang member sitting in prison. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm just not gonna feel my hair no more because I get upset. He said, "What didn't happen now?" No, I was just telling them about. I've had so when I was in the private sector, I had a whole lot of I had a whole lot of interesting cases. Believe it or not, I did a lot of work. I did more work for defense attorneys. I did a whole lot of work for defense attorneys because um, how am I trying to put it? Um, Defense attorneys will have tell their clients that they need experts, in which a lot of them do, and they need investigators, right? So they'll bill their clients and stuff for investigators to go out and try to find anybody that to corroborate whatever their story is. Here's the thing: when it's time to um, come into the courtroom, ain't nobody coming. You know why? Because they don't want to commit perjury. They think about, nah, I better not get on this stand, because oftentimes, if especially if they're lying, those prosecutors will eat them alive, and they get to thinking about what can happen if they get on the stand and commit perjury. But also, I got the opportunity to see that a lot of people get messed over in the criminal justice system. A lot of young men and women um, got messed over, and unfortunately, the criminal justice system is about plea deals and all of that. And so, especially when you know somebody has been messed over, it makes you work even harder. Even when you could poke holes and the prosecutors know that are not going to, they're not going to win. They be knowing that a lot of times. Um, it's all about trying to get them to take a deal, even if they didn't do it. They've been sitting in jail waiting for their trial. This is the messed up part. Sitting in jail waiting for their trial, trying to be hard, don't want to tell on their friend or whoever it was that did it, right? Prosecutors know that. Okay. So they feel their stance is he knows who did it, he wouldn't say nothing. So we're gonna put him through hell, make him fight for his life. And there is really a 60% chance that you're going to be found guilty. So that the chance is bigger of being found guilty than not guilty. So you got a dude that's sitting in jail that didn't do something. It ain't often though. Let me just say that, because these summer bitches be out here doing all types of stuff. Okay, and so he's sitting in jail, and he's not, he's actually innocent. And so the prosecutor, you tell them, okay, well, the witness, or the complaining witness or whatever. Complaining witness has a history of lies. The complaining witness has a history of this, and that. Here it is, my investigator has found where there has been a history of this. My investigator has talked to this person, and they're willing to come to court to corroborate this. We have proof that this person um, has a history of lying or something like that, on and the same types of lies on different people, or the same type of complaints on different people. That the prosecutor, okay, well, that don't look good. The chances are he's going to be found not guilty. Okay, but here's the thing: the prosecutor does not want to just drop the case, because they look that to themselves it looks like a failure. So what they'll say is, I tell you what, if you can get him to plead to a lesser charge or something like that, and we'll just give him 6 months probation. But this is going to be on his background. They jump for that, which is sad. What's up, Mr. N?
Long day. What's going
It
on?
looked like it's been a long day for you.
Been a long day, man. I tell you. Um, how's the show been going?
It's been going good. We've been talking about a plethora of things.
A plethora.
I've jumped from one subject, one topic to the other. I was talking to them about when I was basically being hired by mostly defense attorneys about the criminal justice system and how a lot of times these prosecutors knew that these young men were innocent, right? But they didn't want to just drop the case, even when we had proof, and they know the young man or the young woman don't want to go to trial, so they would say, well, I tell you what, the person's been sitting up in jail for 8 months to a year, and that's, I tell you what, if they plead to this charge and this is going to be on their background, we'll just give them 6 months probation, they can get out tomorrow. They signed for that. They signed for it, but the truth of the matter is they're not even guilty. You see what I'm talking about? It's really unjust.
Yeah, you have two sides of it. On the one side, crime is high, and people want something done about that. And on the other hand, um, prosecutors, Amy Wyrich was number two in the nation in prosecutorial misconduct. We had the number two prosecutor in the nation for misconduct for about 15 years. So she stepped out in 2020 when Steve Morrow came in, and she wiped a lot of stuff off of the books when she left out. But she had been there over 15 years. And so she had been reprimanded by the state of Tennessee, by the bar on numerous. Like I said, she was number two in the country. The prosecutor in Missouri, in St. Louis, was number one for the most misconduct, and Amy Wyrich was number two.
Oh wow. They hid a lot of evidence. They hid a lot of evidence. They hid a lot of stuff that Amy Wyrick's administration and the guy that recommended her, I forget his name, was it Gil? I forget his name. The guy that recommended her, that was right there before the district attorney, before he recommended her, and they put her in the position. But
Yeah,
um
it's a crooked, criminal justice system, and it's a crooked, um, it's a corrupt city government, um, and it's just a lot of bad actors. Even how they handled the Dolph case, there was no, everyone was just watching it. The major news outlets, Court TV, different things like that was watching the whole case, but they've been handling cases and people sloppy, because I think what most Memphians don't realize is, it's a business first and foremost for them, you know, um, and servitude is not lawful in this country. Slavery is not lawful in this country unless you've been convicted of a crime, and you've been sentenced to labor or detention, and then uh, that's where it is allowed. And the South took advantage of that. But in the fields of Mississippi and Memphis and Tennessee and the surrounding areas, the judges, they really believe in this, and the groups that they're a part of, the organization that they're a part of, that meet, some of them in the neighborhoods by University of Memphis. I can't lie, I crept up on like a lot of these meetings because I was just a curious young person, and they're a part of organizations and they believe in carrying on that servitude, that slavery aspect of things, and it's a booming business from the bail bondsman to the court costs and fines to room LL80 and LL81 to traffic
Yes.
tickets to it's a booming business. The business of crime for Memphis is a booming business. The number one trauma center in the area, so it's booming for the hospital business. And at the end of the day, um, they're all part of this machine. People don't know that. They don't look at it like that. But the guards at the Penna Farm and the trauma center nurses, and they're treating children who've been hit with gunshots, and they get a check, they get paid to do this. They're all part of this big crime business machine, you know. So you have to realize what you're dealing with. And over time, I had to come to the realization of what it was, because it looked like one thing growing up, and and then it started looking like I'm winding up in a police car a little bit more, in the back of a police car a little more often now. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I might have been dead to the wrong, or I might really didn't do nothing this time, but I'm in the back of a police car. I'm going in that salad port a little too often now. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm a criminal, but I'm involved in some things at that time that was, criminal according to the law. But
You said according to the law, huh?
yeah, but the tactics they were using to pull me over and to, I realized that I can't win at this game. You feel what I'm saying? Like, especially if I'm doing something dirty, I can't win, because every time you turn around, it's some mishap, it's a roadblock, it's a tail light, it's a light out. It's every time I looked around, it was like I can't be doing nothing really. You can't play this game here if that's what you plan to do. And when I got to Atlanta is when it really dawned on me, because I could ride around 285 with 100 blocks. And I knew from experience, from being there after a certain amount of time, that I could get away with it easily, very easily. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the city wasn't hot either. So I'm like, this fucking place not hot. And then I realized that the dudes that was selling dope down there, like, they were staying fresh. They were staying in their whips and their cars but we had kind of pulled back in Memphis because we realized it was such a small space. You didn't need the attention. If you really had, some real dope, a real amount of it anyway, you kept on the lawn care outfit. You dressed in your work uniform. You put on a Dickies, and you acted like you was doing some work, and that's how you moved around, because you really had some weight somewhere put up. But when I got to Atlanta, I was like, niggas is still saucing with the jug. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, this is crazy. But it wasn't that amount of violence. And so APD within the Metro Atlanta, man, we had a ball. I'm so glad that I spent a large part of my 20s, late 20s, mid-20s, late 20s in Atlanta, because I really didn't know what freedom was as a young person, to have money and enjoy myself and go somewhere with a lot of people, and one nothing gonna happen. I had nice shit, and people weren't hating on me just because they weren't trying to kill me for a name that in a neighborhood. Like, I was like, man, this shit is, you know what I'm saying? This is, I'm gonna have to hang out down here for a minute because I'm getting a level of peace I'm not used to. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I was driving the wrong way. They had the, like, okay, so like on Union where they have the X's and arrows on the lanes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a back street. Like I was coming down the street like that in Atlanta, and I was going in the wrong direction, and APD pull up on me. I was so fucking drunk, and I had a girl from Memphis in the car, and he was like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Bro, you see the tags? I'm from Tennessee. I'm from Memphis." I was like, "I ain't know it was." He like, "Yeah, yeah, I can see that." He was like, "You know, you be careful out here." And he told her, he said, "You look out for him, man. You tell him he going the wrong way or he in the wrong lane or something." And that man let us ride on off. And I was like, man, this ain't what I'm used to. So the over policing, the heavy policing, it's fucking with your brain and you don't even know it. The
Mm-hmm.
violence is fucking with your brain and you don't even know it because it's happening slowly, but over time, yeah, you're gonna have post traumatic stress. I ain't gonna say disorder, but experiences. You gonna say episodes. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's taking so much of your brain power up to understand, to outthink situations, to outthink people. No, not at this gas station. I'm gonna go to the one by the house. Like it's taking so much brain power, and you to adjust to all this. Oh, it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. No, I ain't finna go over there this late. You constantly adjusting. You feel
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You constantly having to outthink the environment. They be clocking up here at the corner. Let me slow down. You see what I'm saying? Like every
Yeah.
weekday they at this corner right here. Well, guess what? Other cities don't need the money. They not out for the money that bad. See, when I went to Atlanta, I realized that the economic base wasn't the criminal justice system. Like I thought it was like that everywhere. You feel me? I thought that's how they made the money off of the citizens and us paying tickets and they're supposed to go to school and they're supposed to go to infrastructure. Well, we all thought that till they stole $50 million from Memphis City School. So they took all our ticket money, the criminal money, the money that was getting paid in, that went toward the portion of that went toward the school budget. The Shelby County government, who were just a group of people, stole $50 million, ended up at the Supreme Court. So all your hurt and your pain down in that criminal justice system, it ain't about justice. It's about them getting their money because they really don't care what happened to you. To be 100% honest with you, it ain't the police have one attitude and then we get into the court with a judge. Oh, the judge, they care about what happened. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
They the one gonna send you up the road. They the one gonna get a white boy 1129, a year, 2 years of community correction. Fuck gonna give you a real 4 years in jail, not supervised. You feel
I,
what
I
I'm saying?
saw, and this is, it's sad to say, but I saw a white man coming out of traffic court. He had gotten a ticket. It shocked me. It shocked me. You never
I
see that
gotta
at
tell this story.
201.
Yeah, I gotta tell a story about that, and it's a personal story. And I want to remember the judge's last name, but I was in the cell before you go to court, and this white dude had 7 counts of reckless endangerment. 7 counts. And I just couldn't believe that situation. She sent him home that day, and I don't think he had no probation. I don't know if he had probation or not. I know he went home that day because he came back to the cell and he was like, "I'm going home." She sent me home. So everybody, all the black, everybody else in there black, and they thinking, well, the judge is in a good mood today. She's sending people home. They got to get some of these people out of here. Man, she went down the list and hammered every single last one of us. You know, with way more like we didn't nobody, none of us went home, and we had lesser charge. None of us had 7 counts of anything, especially not a violent act like reckless endangerment. He shot into a house or something. There was 7 people in there, so they give you 7 counts. But he hadn't even been in jail 3-4 months, and he went home upon that appearance in their courtroom. And none of us had 7 counts of anything, and I got 3 years. Some other folks got more time than they had. Like, you know, this really does matter. Until you go downtown into the courthouse and sit through some cases, or you have a family member that's going to court and you sit there and, you know, just watch some of these, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't even know that's what was going on inside that courthouse. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Ian, so what have you been up to? It's been a few months since you've been on here. You know, every time you come, you kick knowledge and you have something going on. What have you been up to lately? What have you tapped into, especially as it relates to what would we call it? I forget what it's called when you move away from actually the music industry and get into the other part of it.
Oh, that's just the opposite of it. I was in the studio yesterday working on my stuff, and you know, it's been a lot more music business than it's been other stuff. You know, of course, I'm looking for the scheduled deposits that's that's supposed to happen, and so. And I'm also gonna get the music, the rap catalog, because I'm making some other stuff right now. But the rap catalog is I'm gonna send it up for appraisal at the end of September. And so I had a conversation about that today. And so it's a lot more music business going on. Yeah.
So you say you've been in the studio. Are you doing an album?
I just get a collection of songs, and then once I get so many, I pick out the ones that I like, and I think gonna do well, and I call it an album. I call it a project. I was in Memphis. I reunited with my daughter. After a bitter baby mama situation. And so I ended up at Just Born's house, DJ Just Born's house, at 7:30 in the morning because I where I was staying at, I needed it wasn't a coffee maker there. And so I was like, well, I'm finna walk down here to Just Born's house because he stays in this, you know, really beautiful neighborhood, beautiful house. And I was like, I'm finna walk down to Just Born's house and get and so he got up. He had just got through DJing at Neil's that night. And so him and John do the Neil's thing. Everybody knows what's up with Neil's. But he had just got through doing Neil's that night. And then next morning, I was over there to get coffee. And we had a conversation. I didn't hold him long, but you know, we finna hit Memphis radio. We finna hit, You know, everybody gonna see it. We gonna, you know, we gonna. It's gonna be in their face. It's just a process because you know you have to look down the road at. I'm looking at what is, you know, where it's going and where it needs to go. Um, and I see other Memphis producers. They're shooting at the bullseye. Drummer Boy is, you know, shooting around the bullseye. But we're all.
When you say shooting around the bullseye, what does that mean?
Well, you know, what I feel is my opinion now, you know, but he's very, very close to where I feel the bullseye is. Let's say that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's talented.
Yeah, I mean,
he is.
I mean, obviously, he's important. I watch him. I listen for a reason. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, but we're barking up the same tree. But I just see the red circle in the middle, and I just want to hit that. What I feel like is, you know, and so and I want to have fun again. We want to dance. We want to kick it. We, you know, when you play these songs, I want it to be a vibe, not no slow. It ain't nothing like that, you know. And so to get that right, and also, you know, Just Born is important because he's playing the songs at Neil's on Thursday night, and his ear is always to what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? But I went and peeked in the studio at the new house. I told him I ain't trying. I just want to see what the setup look like. He was like, I ain't been recording that, man. I'm tired, man. I've been DJing all that. I said, I just want to look at the, you know, see how you got everything set up. And so I finished my coffee and I left.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows what all this means, and he knows what. We don't have to talk about all that. We've been knowing each other, you know, 25 years. So he knows where it's all going, and I know what type of records he playing at Neil's, and I know what the grown folks crowd on, and I know my partner T Stick said all the fine women and older women in there, and you know, so I know what they jamming to. My ear is always gonna stay tuned up to that degree. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Well, would you say that uh Drummer Boy basically helped to create Jeezy sound?
was Jesus sound?
He was basically the person.
Yeah, and you know he's a producer rather more so than an artist. He's a producer, and so that's where you know we're gonna see things somewhat differently, but he's brilliant. I never take that away from him, and I think the simplicity of it because you know he didn't overthink it a lot, and I think that made it really really good. You know with the music that he was making, but yeah, definitely.
Something happened to Mr. N. His camera went out. Mr. N, are you there?
Okay,
Oh,
okay, my bad.
okay.
Definitely Jeezy though.
So, Mr. N, let me ask you something. Why do you think there's so much crime in the city of Memphis? To include, even though we have majority black politicians.
Well, they are right in the aspect of talking about it's about what's happening at home, but it you know we can point to certain statistics. 53.6% are in a single parent home, and we can point to different things, but the genesis the genesis of it was um, poor education. It started from civil rights and being denied equal working conditions, equal employment opportunities, and that's what Dr. King came down to Memphis to protest with the garbage workers. So it started with that uh, to inequality in the schools and poor education, limited education. Where Memphis City schools, every school didn't have available internet for students. 5 years. I want to say internet went live in '97, and so the stagnation there uh, alone, because you had the .com bubble, um, that when I bought the house in Atlanta, I didn't even know what the .com bubble was, and the entire neighborhood was rich, really, because they had bought their houses off of the .com bubble, and I was like, "What is the .com bubble?" And I rode the plane with a girl who lived in my neighborhood, a black woman, and I asked her that on the plane. And she explained to me what the .com bubble was. And I was like, well, I couldn't have been a part of that because my school, my household, we didn't get internet until this point in time. And so not only that, but the level of education that the teachers had, the level of the curriculum, um, the daughters of the Confederates wrote all of our textbooks. They manipulated every single textbook that we had in their school, especially history book and civics, social studies books. A white racist organization who were the descendants of uh, Civil War veterans in the South, daughters of the Confederates, wrote and manipulated every book that hit our desk. And it
That's
and it
true.
also limited us. Absolutely. This is factual. This has been proven. This has been studied. This has been documented. They were writing our story, that were the story they wanted us to read and the things that they wanted us to know. And they limited us as well. The publishing companies and uh, the companies producing the books, they are all part of this happening. This is well documented. And so when you limit education on that level, when you limit access to technology, when you limit access to information that the world is on its way to be functioning off of, and you have a certain amount of graduates who are pregnant. My high school was made national news for the most girls pregnant at the high school, national news. And you have also not only a percentage that is a teen pregnancy, that's pregnant as teens, but you also have a percentage who cannot read functionally,
That's true.
let alone
And they
access to
graduate them.
technology, information that would help them. And then a lower percentage is going to college to pursue a further or some type of further education. So you get a decade of that. Let's just say 2002 to 2012. And I guarantee you it was going on way before that. But we're just going to say 2002 to 2012. That's enough to devastate because everybody's going to end up warehouse workers. It's not you know, no one's prepared to work in certain environments. Now the environment demands a level of health care, especially because of what they know that we're being exposed to through the air and through the water system, and also because of the violence, which is why we got the #1 trauma center. So Bookman Laboratories gave a bunch of money to Volatile Boys Club, and the Boys Club became Buckman Boys Club. And Bookman had a laboratory or some type of facility in Hyde Park, and the EPA testing for that water that's running up under Watkins, the Wolf River, I guess it's a part of the Wolf River. It's bad. Right by Watkins and Brown and all of that. That water that's running under there and what they're letting off into the air. There is an EPA report on it. It may take you some time, but if you zoom into those numbers and if you read that when you just ain't doing nothing because you want to check and see if I'm lying, it was bad. And I used to go to that boys club. That was my boys club in the neighborhood in North Memphis on Valentine. And Bookman Laboratories, they came over and they started, doing a bunch of stuff for the kids, but really nothing that I could see that was that big. But they changed the name, and that's how I guess they so-called made it good in the community. But they start seeing that the cases of certain illnesses like cancer to the people in that community were being affected, and they had high numbers the same way that they're saying they have high numbers with the pollution near Boxtown and South Memphis and over that way. The same thing they're saying now, they were saying that back then about Hyde Park. And so the politicians are allowing this. Companies just can't come in and dump waste and pollute our air without some type of contract with the city or the city allowing them to come in. And so you're the money. You're on that seal, Tennessee seal, agriculture. You the agriculture. I used to tell niggas in jail, you the agriculture. They be like, this nigga here, boy. But no, that's the honest to God truth. And that's something I witnessed as a young person coming up, because I wanted to know why y'all changing the name. Oh, and these people are from Buckman Laboratories, and this is going to be. And so later on in my 20s, they discovered that a bunch of people were getting sick over there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of people for a very long time, and they kept it a secret that was getting sick. You know where Elvis Presley and Norris is?
Yes.
Over in that area on Norris Road, going back towards Norris School and Corey. So many people were getting sick.
My old childhood church is over there, and I hope everybody over there at Apostolic Deliverance Temple is okay then. We pray good things on y'all. I didn't know that. Norris Road, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you something. Now, Dirk's trial is coming up, okay?
Oh, my
And
God.
that's one of the things I was just talking about before you got on here.
If you ever wanted to believe it was real, just watch the Dirk trial.
And I was just talking about that before you got on here. a lot of people have mixed feelings about whether they feel like Dirk should. I don't think they care about whether he's guilty or not. They have mixed feelings on whether he should go to jail, because a lot of people probably think that he is guilty, but he shouldn't go to jail. But my thing is, why is it that people like Dirk, who had access to a plethora of money, was able to beat the odds? A lot of people in Chicago don't get the opportunities that he got, but he couldn't stay. Why is Dirk in this situation?
You know, it's historical. It really is, because this is not gonna go good. I can tell you that for sure, because he has a close friend that has agreed to testify. He told them everything, and also filed a document which is like a federal protection order against Dirk. And so this guy is going all out, and they forced him to admit. I mean, they're going to allow the phone, what they found in the phone, to be submitted. And I think the defense was pulling for, that to not be allowed, but it's going to be allowed. And you have a star witness who we know was close to you, who was around, and who knows what went on. It ain't gonna be pretty. You know, and shout out to all the Dirk fans. God bless Lil Dirk. A lot of this stuff, is gonna come down to Donald J. Trump.
Talking about giving him a pardon.
Who shiesty as well? It's no way. It's no way. And I ain't hating on nobody. In shiesty case, you got a 37-year veteran police sergeant. Now this man is gonna go all the way.
Yeah.
You got a white boy who don't forgive none of it, and he going all the way. He going public saying he going all the way. And they got video. They got a lot of data, meaning messages. They have a lot of video from public places. It's gonna come down to Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, giving him a pardon, because.
And I hope that happen. I because there's no way to live for nobody. I ain't. My best case scenario would be that they both change their life, and Donald J. Trump pardon him.
Well, I think Dirk has a lot to worry about, because even after if he
As
beats
far
this
as the
situation in
cases,
California, I think he's got something waiting for him.
yeah,
In
he's got another case, but as far as the cases themselves, they're not coming home.
and they keep superseding on Dirk. They're making sure they get him for something.
They did, and then the judge is making them deal with this situation first.
Well, we got Trayon Ingram. I found out today that his trial starts September 1st. They had kept that quiet, and nobody really knew what was going on with that situation. But a few days ago, I was talking about
He's going on trial for what act?
The Covington Act, where he shot the lady in Covington, but he also drove the white Mercedes. And so with the video that I was playing tonight, I mean, they keep saying that the person that was with him is on the run. I don't think they've had any issues out of Trayon. Trayon knew exactly who was in the car with him. So we had, Hernandez Govan has said that Cornelius is supposed to testify
I
in
would not doubt that. I would not doubt that.
he said Cornelius is supposed to testify in Trayon's trial. And the rumor had been, now this is allegedly, I don't know, but somebody, I'd been heard that Cornelius had allegedly said that the person that was in the car with Trayon was allegedly straight drop, but I feel like had it been straight drop, he would have been charged by now. But the thing is, if it was a person and they're on the run, why haven't they been speaking about it?
Well, we didn't realize that, just, they've been keeping everything where they want to keep it, And, but it's so crazy because when I told this story, or when, because I automatically knew what happened. Nobody called me and said, hey, this was it, and this is why they was in Covington. And this is as soon as I heard the name, Darnisha, and even maybe before all of that, but as soon as I heard the name Darnisha, I knew exactly what had went on with the entire situation. So never believe that somebody called me and told me this or told me that, or I got this theory because I looked at this video. See, that's what a lot of you seeing a lot of podcasters do at this point anyway. But I ain't got no theory. I really know these people. I really know what this all about. I really know how this happened.
Darnisha
Now, let me say
personally.
this. Yeah, let me say this. Now, the cast of characters, and if you would have told me this story, any number of years back, I was like, what? I'd be like, what? That's really going to happen? But I know exactly who Darnisha was. I've been over there when Gotti first met that girl. And he met Jamie, his children's mother, not long after. And so I'm not doing what I got the cap about. I don't give a shit about none of this or none of these people to that degree, but I just know them. And I already knew when they jumped out on that car and that girl was in that car, I'm like, this nigga her, bro.
You think they was trying to take the girl out?
She got hit 16 times and she got airlifted, and nobody said nothing about that. We ain't
Sure didn't.
It's wild. It's wild. And so I just let it be what it was, because like I said, what do I,
Why would he want to do that? I mean, why would somebody want to do that too? Why would he want to do that to
because
her?
Darnisha was the girl.
Was what girl?
Play with your bitch, young dog.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, when it all started, and I knew this 2-3 years ago when people was on air and saying, well, it is this, and old ass different people with it ain't about this. Bro. Okay. All right. That's why when I heard it all and I put it all together, I was like, this is gonna be a movie at the end. This is somebody gonna make a movie about this. When they find out that Darnisha was the baby mama up in the hotel for 3 weeks, whatever dog said, When they figured out the same niggas that was shooting at her car and that gun and all this connected to Dolph and Trayon had the gun, when they figure all this out, I'm talking about this like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I'm like, somebody gonna make a movie out of this shit. When they figure out this really what this about.
Oh wow. That right there just blew me away.
Because everybody wanted it to be about something else. Because everybody know what they talking about. Because everybody is the streets. That's what they. Who made
Somebody in the chat said, "Do you know Snooty?"
I fuck with Snooty was my guy. When Lil Larry found Snooty, Lil Larry found Snooty with the Yayo song. DJ Lil Larry, same one. He was the first one to really, talk some sense into Moneybag and said, "There was Lil Larry. I ain't gonna take no credit away from him." I fuck with Lil Larry. And yeah, he the one found Snoopy, but he was always he going with the move. He going with what got it moved. From the first time Gotti paid him to play a record, he was going with. I knew he was gonna go with the move. He had a little drug habit too, so we were out. He was young.
Now, I'm not gonna hold you on there, but I guess I'm still in shock about what you was talking about prior to that, because I guess for me, and this is just me, but I ain't out in the street. I'm just having a hard time dealing with somebody would have somebody to hit up a girl 16 times that they was with.
Yeah. Your life has a price. Somebody made that list of hit list that they, and she was on it and whoever else was on it. But there is a price. In Memphis, Tennessee, there is a price. I'm sorry to tell you. And no one is exempt. Nobody. They love bullies. They love niggas think they tough. They don't even, if you act like you tough, they probably leave you alone. They probably leave you alone, man. And for real. That's why me just being respectful and just real with niggas, it got me so far. I'm still here today. You feel what I'm saying? But that don't mean I'm going for anything and, we ain't gonna do, it ain't gonna go where it's gonna go. But when it's a misunderstanding that can be diffused, hey man. Because otherwise, ain't nothing but some blood gonna get spilled by this money and about this shit, about this dope. So, we ain't got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you ain't trying to bully and you ain't trying to be the tough guy because that's who they want. That's who niggas want. You feel me? That's who they want. That's who they want. And it's always been like that in Memphis. But in this case, it was the money. It was the money. And Dog would not have put that song out if he didn't have some basis to what he's saying. That's going a long way. And missed calls on the single cover, Yo Gotti Baby Mama, and all this on the single cover. And so he knows who is he talking about? See, and I couldn't figure that out for years. I was like, what? For like the first, I ain't gonna say years, but like the first season, I was like, who is this nigga? Because I know Jamie personally, and she is a woman of integrity. And so I'm like, she ain't did that. You feel what I'm saying? But he was talking about Darnisha.
Oh wow.
And somebody had came and told him the story. Somebody told him the story, what happened back in the day. And he got there and he got introduced to her. And I'm sure gave her some money and, looked out, whatever, whatever. But you got him publicly tweeting her and her publicly tweeting him and her publicly tweeting Gotti at the same time. So everybody know each other. At least we made it that far. You feel what I'm saying? So which I know this anyway because I know it. But I'm just saying for the sake of argument. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But he went too far with it. I would not. You know, you know, to give you a different perspective of it, um, women, they have a hand in this also. They're being spiteful, and they want to go be seen with the nigga that after y'all broke up or after y'all ain't dealing with each other, they want to go be seen with a nigga that you don't like or that you got a problem with or that you know what I'm saying? This is nothing new. And she get your attention, get back in your face by doing it. This is common stuff black women do. I don't know about other races. I ain't dated a lot of other races. But this is common. And so she was playing her hand. And Dolph turned around and played his. But he played it through a song with a video, a parody, and this kicked it off, man. This kicked it off. And he couldn't have been talking about nobody but Darnisha when you think about it. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
So does Gotti supposedly have a child with this lady?
suppose
Hmm.
I do remember when she got pregnant on the child in question. I remember we were together. Yeah, we was around each other every day. When the word came out back to Fraser that the girl in Covington was pregnant, yes, I was around.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then like I said, it's just what was going on. You know what I'm saying? It went,
Miss Ann, let me ask you this because I don't know if you've ever been clear on it, but you have kind of talked around it. I
mm,
know at one time you spoke about how you and Gotti used to be super super cool. Y'all
mm-hmm.
helped each other. What happened? What made the shoe drop? What went on?
We had that conversation. We had
I
that
don't remember
conversation,
that.
but I could have went along with some things, but I probably would have ended up in the same seat Black Youngster here right now. You know,
So he wanted you to be a send out, you think?
not like that. Well, who the hell knows with Mario? Man, you feel what I'm saying? What the hell? At what point you will become the sacrifice? You feel what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, um, certain shit I just wasn't going for, and using a nigga a certain way. It wasn't worth no, like, even to this day, like, ain't no amount of money gonna put me in no situation. You feel what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I could get the girl without the money, first of all. Then I got the money. So
Hold on, I think his Wi-Fi went out or something. He'll come back up.
Yeah, sorry about
Okay,
that.
he's back.
Yeah, so
Did he ever try to sign you?
no, because he knew I wouldn't do that, but he did put Juke up to it. Yeah.
He tried to get Juke to talk you into.
Well, he was gonna give Juke the money, and then I was gonna sign, and then the money was gonna come through that way. But it was too early, and it wasn't enough money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason I asked you that because when I hear the more we do interviews, the more I get the opportunity to see you. You spend quite a bit of time with him.
Probably well over a decade. We grew up together. I mean, into our 20s, in almost to 30. So that's
So it
like,
don't bother you for you all to be separated. Like that means y'all spend a lot of time together. There had to have been some type of love there.
oh yeah, it was. It definitely was. I won't deny that. Although we are separated in physical, the mental is not that far away from each other. And we pulled up at the same light in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Florida. We
Did
put
he
it
speak to you?
side by side.
Did he speak to you?
No, the windows were tinted, but he knew my truck and I knew his truck, and so I think he was leaving Grant Cardone's office, which is in Aventura. It's right near Sunny Isle, Biscayne, and Future lives at the Aquilina over there. He has a club in Miami. I don't think a lot of people know that, but I think he was leaving the real estate investor Grant Cardone's office, and we pulled up at the same light right there. I was like, "This is." I was like, after everything, we pull up at the same.
So with you spending as much time with him as you did, because y'all basically grew up together, do you think that he and Juke were just alike or they were different?
Oh no, you know, the streets had to be left alone at a point, and we agreed on that. And it got to a point that it was Memphis. We were cool on Memphis itself to come visit the family and maybe go out and hang out. But I think in our late 20s, it was like we didn't want to. Because Juke came to my house in Alpharetta and in Georgia, and so we were still hanging, but we just would. We were outside of Memphis at that point. It was too dangerous. It was dangerous. It was dangerous, and we wanted to go see how far we could make it with certain things, including music.
Hmm. So do you think if you had still been in his life, you could have, because you seem very intelligent, you,
It, you
you think
know,
you could have intervened on a lot of stuff do you think you could have stopped a lot of stuff, like a lot of this sending out and all
it
of
just
that?
would have been a lot better for everybody. And but you got I ain't hanging out to be cool because we grown. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I know he don't pay people. So I wouldn't sit on that. You know what I'm saying? I know he don't pay people. I know he do bad paperwork. I know he ain't finna stand behind half the shit that we all pumped up and hype about in the beginning, but I know how it goes. So I probably need to run my own thing, and I was very, very wise for doing it. Very wise.
Well, let me ask you this. You say he does bad paperwork. Well, how do you think do you think he's gotten far though?
Think he's
To
got what?
gotten far.
Yeah. I mean, you can get quite a far of a ways fucking over people and swindling people, but can you get a bankroll and maintain your integrity though?
Right.
Can you get a bankroll and still be loved and respected in certain circles
Right. And
and even by your peers?
and let me clarify that when I said he's gotten far, I see what you mean now when you said he do bad paperwork. Because I was thinking in terms when you said that he was signing bad deals for himself, but I see what you're saying now, bad paperwork as it relates to messing over other people.
Yeah, I mean that's not a maybe. It's not something we think because he had a lawsuit with Young Fletcher for $5 million that triggered an IRS audit. So and all it is because you want to fuck over somebody, and now the IRS want to know. That's what I'm talking about. Those kind of trolls. You don't need those kind of trolls. Then you got to go down there and fake lose $500,000, all of that at the fucking blackjack table on camera, so you can get a write off because you can just got yourself in a bunch of shit by doing the wrong thing. You see what I'm saying?
Mr. N, you get ready to start tickling me when you start doing that now.
What's meant for you is meant for you. And if you want it, you can go get it. And I always knew that from day one. So
All right.
I was never under the impression. I also know that you can put whatever you want in Forbes magazine if you got the money. You feel what I'm saying?
You got the chat tickle, Mr. N.
Yeah, you can put whatever you can. Real Talk with Talent worth 26 million. Sells the channel. That should be in Forbes tomorrow. You got $2 grand, bitch. You got $2 grand. It should be in Forbes tomorrow, bro.
You said $2 grand. That's how much they charge?
Well, if you talk about a reputable PR person who got the pool and who gonna send it straight through, it can get cheaper than that, but you ain't gonna get that kind of report. You feel what I'm saying? Now, in terms of a wealth assessment, it take Kanye to tell you how Forbes, you know what I'm saying? Because 1 minute he was rich, 1 minute he was broke when Adidas pulled it down, according to Forbes. You see what I'm saying? So, and he really wasn't broke, but it's media, it's PR, it's not real, bro.
I gotta. You don't have to talk about it. How you think your boy gonna turn out? Because I know you don't have to tell me, and I'm not mad about it either. I know you got I know you got a lot of love for Quit.
Quit going right now. Quit is probably in one of the safest places he can be.
Mr.
He in a safe place, alone, reading his Bible. Now, what else do you want for your? You see what I'm saying? What else could we possibly wish upon him for him to become a better person? You see what I'm saying?
Why you say alone? Why you gotta be alone?
See, everybody
you said yourself. You said yourself it ain't good to be alone.
ain't nobody gonna end up where they not supposed to be at. You sow bad seed, you know what you did. You know you been nasty to that coworker at work, that folks ain't did shit to you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know you sowing bad seeds. And see, I just seen that Justice for Dog documentary the other day.
Yeah.
Episode. And I said, you know what? Because I had heard about this, but I ain't know all the details. So
He did a good documentary.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? Whatever went on, these folks been sowing bad seeds, bro. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know what's true, what ain't. It's a wild story, but I'm just saying that, bro, y'all been sowing bad seeds, bro. Feel what I'm saying? At the end of the day, bro.
Well, I think his trial is in December. Quits.
It might be. But he somewhere reading his Bible by himself. Everybody gonna end up where they supposed to end up be. Ain't nobody gonna be nowhere they ain't supposed to be.
Well, that's true. He probably needs to plead. That's probably what he needs to do.
Ain't nobody gonna the cell locked. He in mint condition, like a basketball card, like a baseball card. He in motherfucking mint because he encased. You feel what I'm saying? And so, and he won't be there. He won't be there for long. Not that long. You know what I'm saying?
No, he won't. He'll probably get a year or two.
But it just shows you how God works.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
sometimes you have to do things to be, maybe when he'll be more humble, he'll humble down.
The maximum on that charge say he won't even be gone that long. But right now, you sitting in there reading that Bible right now.
Well, a little time ain't gonna hurt him because I think the max on that is what, almost 5 years?
5 years. They've been got you on out the YouTube algorithm real good. And you've been you've been changing your mind about certain things and how you look at certain stuff. See, he worked with us all on each person's level.
Well, that's true. He'll definitely be out of the algorithm. And yeah, in less than a year. He really already out.
Already out. Now you talking about 3 more years, 2 more. He works in mysterious ways. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. Because you want someone good seed, bro. And that's what it's about.
Well, I have to say, I know a lot of people gonna think that, I'm just a square person. But I think even with in a person's wrong, they can help. Look at what he put into the atmosphere before he went in. I'm serious. Like, I think he pointed. I think he gave like some people, family, some closure, like teasies.
If that's what you call it.
I mean, it's sad, but even if it was done in a vindictive way, he pointed them in a direction to let them know that teasy friends did this to him.
I'm not gonna comment on that because that was coded when he said that.
You say it was co-written?
It was coded.
Um,
It was coded. On the one hand, he was telling the truth. On the other hand, you're not telling it all.
well, no,
So
he didn't. He didn't give the names. That's true.
yeah. And he didn't get a main name. God bless these people, man. It just, I don't know what to say.
Well, you and listen. Here's a good thing. Shout out to Justice for Dolph. The FBI is involved in our, and hopefully we can get, hopefully they can figure out something. Now I know, like
FBI involved in what?
Howard's case.
Oh, yes. I heard something like that.
Justice for Dolph has done his thing as it relates to that.
Yeah, he has. This last one was just so wild. I was just sitting there watching Memphis Pie.
Now, what does PI
I
stand for?
was
That's what I
like,
want to
bro,
know.
that was crazy. It had me laughing. I can say that much. But I thought that was a lot right there. I was like, hey, this is crazy. But no, shout out to him. Shout out to man, Stan G.
Stan G was just in here. Shout out to Stan G. He still be doing
Shout
his
out
thing.
to True Results.
True Results. The Alabama hitter was just in here.
Alabama hitter. Shout out to Alabama hitter. That's a good dude, man. And between these four stations, we all together, we write the stories. You know what I'm saying? And I think you guys have been super responsible with, the way y'all put things out and what y'all have tried to do. I think there's a lot more work to do. And, but True Results, Stan G, Justice for Dolph, I will put him in there. And Real Talk with Tamara, last but not least, Real Talk with Tamara. You guys make up the media and make up the stories. We have successfully locked it down between the four corners. And no one is going to write our stories for us. I think True does what he does with a certain level of honesty and just realness. I think that you do what you do with a certain level of honesty and past experience with, the police department and working with the law. Stan, he coming from the gut, whether it make however you feel about it. He ain't doing
he
no
gonna say it, ain't he? He gonna tell it.
Ain't nothing wrote down, ain't nothing pre-planned on nothing. He coming straight up off of what he can remember and what he put together, and it's still entertaining. And he sound like Macho Man Randy Savage now to me. It's like my ear done changed around. Oh man, I be like, this nigga sound like Macho Man. And I think Dolph has Justice for Dolph has touched on some important stories. Although no one can tell the whole story. And no one can even give off what it was like at that time when the crew was in its heyday, and it was just so much fun and so much love, and it was something different. Before everybody got tainted and before you know, any of this other stuff came along. There was no CMG. There was no none of that. You know, and the guys who had the money, they were good guys, and they had good spirits, and they helped people. And so, you know, it was a different time. But he's telling some important stories. He's gathering some, you know, I don't know, some of this stuff. Like the last one, like I said, I watched. I was just sitting there like, where did this? How did you know? But
Did you know the barber?
real talk with Tamara, Justice for Dolph, True Results, Stan G. You're not going to manipulate what they're doing. You're not going to tell them to do it this way or do it that way. None of these people. And so this is going out to everybody think they're going to boo or scare somebody into telling a story their way, or to go tear down some regular guy that you're having issues with, or go put somebody, you know, put a mother of two or three that's doing the best she can to go put her on blast. Don't even contact none of these platforms trying to do that or alter the story on how we're putting any of this together, because all these people who have worked for their platform and worked for their position, True, Tamara, you know, I seen Stan go to hell and back and still keep going. And so it is what it is. We not supporting none of these bad energy, none of these CMG. You got a flyer or anything on your story. We ain't, God bless you. You feel what I'm saying? Because we ain't representing or fucking with any of it. It's over in terms of these YouTube channels, because we can't keep pushing hate in the city. And so far, all we seen from these niggas and everybody affiliated and everybody up under these folks is death, and incarceration mainly. And they go from Justin Johnson to Big Juke to Young Dolph to Anita Wilson to Trayon Ingram. We ain't seen nothing but death and incarceration. Bruh, don't contact none of these channels if you got any affiliation with any of these shit, talking about no CMG or any of this shit, bro, because it's not going up, bro. And there's a public service announcement, bro, from you see me right here. You looking at me right here, bro. We have to create change. And we have to try to convince these young dudes that, you know, and what's been done so far with that whole imprint, and you know, even this, you know, people who went to jail who was riding for PRE, and you know, even Dolph Mama at their funeral on their microphone, all the way back to Anita Wilson, all the way back to Donnisha, all the way back to my dog from the mound, Desmond. I thought about the other day, bro. Bro, these real folks, bro, nigga, no, bro, no. If you got any of this shit on your social media or any of that, bro, don't worry about us, bro. Contact Wiki, contact somebody that gonna put you out there, bro, cause we not fucking with you, bro. Yeah, that's what that's my official statement.
Amen. Let me ask you this, Mr. Ian, because I ain't gonna try to keep you on here all night. But just thinking about the video that Justice for Dolph had put out, and did you know the barber? I can't think of his name.
Yeah, no, Chris.
Is his name Chris Stout?
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, I know.
Had you ever been around him? What type of person was he? Do you believe he would do
Chris is
something?
cool. Chris was cool. You know what I'm saying? I met Chris 20 years ago, 15 years ago. You know.
Did he seem like a person of integrity?
I mean, I never got put in a position where I'm putting myself on the line and counting on credit. It ain't like that. You know, I see him when we go to the barber shop at the first barber shop or whatever barber shop he had at that time. But I never seen him outside the capacity of a barber, really. Couldn't juke her, couldn't guide her, you know. Just being honest with you. And this whole celebrity barber thing and all this going on, this what they got going on. You know, I don't this what they got going on. You know, it is what it is.
Somebody said that they saw
I
Jason.
was locked up. I was locked up with Chris' brother. And I was in E building. I was in close custody with his brother. And you know, we chopped it up, but it's regular shit that real, you know, niggas go through, and you know, it wasn't nothing like that, you know. But like I said, what they got going on at this point, you know, obviously I couldn't tell you. I'm not in Memphis, you know what I'm saying?
Come back up again. Okay, there it is, right there. Do you think that he's gonna be okay? We don't want nothing to happen to Chris.
I mean, God bless everybody. You feel what I'm saying? That's the case right there. But I'm not anybody who with any of this shit that's around. First of all, niggas ain't got nothing for 20 something years of bullshit around the country with God in his charades. You feel what I'm saying? And we can see that in how many of them own businesses, basic businesses, roofing companies, rehabbing companies, restaurants, or a pressure washing services. We can go down the list and see after all of that was done, how many of them own small, viable businesses. And that's not what's going on. That's not what happened. That's not the status of what, you know what I'm saying. I ain't saying that, I'm saying that without talking about anybody. I ain't trying to, you know, I can go ham on you niggas because I don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? But just in the, you know, it's just keeping it all in the road. Ask yourself how many of them own small, viable businesses. Shane,
Well, yeah.
who was there very, very early, and y'all, nobody probably never heard of Shane, but he's a great businessman, and he has a great business, and he broke away from them very, very, very early. And I promise you, he probably got more going for himself and more money than all of them put together, other, you know, outside of God and all of that right there, or being an artist. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of it wasn't just me. Shane is another example of, bro, niggas not going for that shit, bro. We not going for it. We young niggas and we weren't going for it. We like, nah, we better go ahead and figure something else out. You feel what I'm saying? like we know this nigga. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how it was, yeah.
Well, I the only thing I'll say about that is I hope that it's not true. You know, I hope he wouldn't steal from his friend's mother.
You know, it's a question. It raises a question. It raises a question if, I mean, what's going on where you get access to somebody's money physically put up in a safe or in a house or wherever. Like what? You didn't break in. I mean, I don't know what these people at this point in the game. Frazier, Gundy, uh, Tammy, everybody said this actually happened. So half of Frazier that close with they said this actually happened. So it ain't like ain't nobody saying it ain't happened, but that's wild. That's wild. That's all I got to say about that. That's wild. That's wild. And who knows? Who knows?
Well, somebody actually told me this is what happened. That it had happened before, and Gotti is a fan of the show, so when he hear this, I know he gonna know that somebody told me this. That what actually happened, what happened was that it had happened before, and Yo Gotti thought that it was a security guy, so he fired the security guy. He fired the security guy with just randomly without telling them why, right? Just fired him. And they put a camera in the house.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. But when you ain't feed niggas for 10 years, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, man got a life and got, I mean, you're not he's not gonna pay him what he's worth, and he's not gonna invest. So if he would, he would have done it in 15 years, 20 years. So I don't know what we're doing after that. After we know you not rocking with a nigga like that. I don't know what we. But like I said, a lot of people ended up on the wrong side of things from a financial standpoint, making sacrifices for dude. I'm telling you the truth.
What is it going to take for our city to get better as far as like the producers and the artists? First of all, because one person can't just make all the money and like crumb all the other people. Why is that mentality so
But
prevalent
it's
in
not
our
like
city?
that. It's not like that anymore. The only thing that he has and that I have over the situations now is the information on how it actually works. And it took me much longer because, I didn't get into, record deals where another label had to buy me out and, um, you know, I signed with a company that, I didn't know what it was they was doing, but once I got signed to them, I figured out what was going on. And, so it took a lot. If you're not going to split the money a certain type of way, but really an unfair way, then it's kind of hard on how you're going to get the information to understand it because people got money to invest and artists have talent, but they don't see a business model. And so a good business person is not going to put money into something they can't see how they're going to get the money. They don't understand it. And the learning curve, because of the technology, is so steep at this point that you would literally have to stop your life for 3 to 5 years just to get the information. There's a lot of mechanisms inside of this phone and on these platforms, and you really have to understand and make sense of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you get a strategy and you understand that, okay, I put this amount of money in, I'm gonna get Once you can see where it's no way I'm not gonna triple my money, then you're ready to put money in. Like you're ready to do it then. You feel what I'm saying? Because you understand that with these things to be true and these parameters, I'm gonna triple the investment. If you can see that, you're ready to do it like yesterday. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't see that and all you see is promo and doing a show and getting some money for this, a show and for this, and then from an investment standpoint, you don't want to do
You there, Ian?
it. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, I'm getting ready to see what take a couple questions from the audience.
Yeah, on my way. On my
Yeah,
way out here.
they said it was on Justice for Dog channel. Jason was a rookie in the video. I think he has another barber now. Well, here's the thing about that. I believe just as anybody else, Chris has worked hard to he was probably cutting hair before he even really knew Gotti. He probably already know how to
Oh
do it.
yeah, he been had his
But
own
I'm
shop.
sure, but
Yeah.
that's gonna mess his clientele up.
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, listen, I don't want to take anything away from first of all, the economy is where it is. You know what I'm saying at this point in time, and it's just different for barbers right now. It's it's different. Some barbers may do very very well. Some, and it's not just with barbers; it's the restaurants. They're closing restaurants that's been in Memphis for 50 years. You
Yeah,
know this; it's making the news.
yeah.
It's not businesses, period. But when you talk about a haircut for 50 or 60, a lot of people simply can't do that as often. Let me say that. Because we know y'all big money and niggas out there watching. But they can't do that as often. And especially when they have children, you know, uh, Walmart, gas, you know what I'm saying? Like real shit going on. You feel what I'm saying? So that ain't gonna be going on like that. And restaurants are closing, businesses are closing, uh, barbershops are empty. A lot of them. I'm not saying everybody. I know y'all big shit popping. But a lot of barbers are involved in other businesses. Let me say that as well. They're businessmen in other areas, so they know how to swim. But businesses on that level is suffering, and I wouldn't say that it had anything to do with, I don't know. Who knows? It may be the topic everybody want to come to the shop and talk about now. I'm gonna get my hair cut. I'm finna ask this nigga what's really going on. So he might make more money. You never know. You feel what I'm saying?
You
But
might.
yeah, generally, uh, it's taken a huge dip, and it has taken a huge dip in the past 18 months. The barber industry is taking a real severe beating. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mr. Ian, I've had you on here. Let's see, about an hour and a half now. I
Yeah, that's
really
long enough.
appreciate.
I'm about to go get me something to eat, and I'm about to go chill out for the rest of
Well, I appreciate you coming on as always.
the
You
day.
always, you say a lot without saying a lot, and without, you don't have to. You say enough. I'll say that. You say enough. And we really appreciate you coming on. Being a y'all do know Mr. Ian he's no longer living in Memphis, but he is a Memphis. Do you ever see yourself moving back home?
I was just in Memphis. Like I said, I went over Just Born House. I walked to Just Born House. I know I'm gonna say that.
But where you
no,
live?
you know I'm somewhere safe as hell. I'm in Florida. I'm in Miami, but I also have I got spots like a dog. You know, I got spots all over. But
But you
I'm in
wouldn't want to
Memphis.
live at home anymore?
In Memphis,
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
And it's not, the reason I wouldn't live in Memphis is because the amount of electricity I need. I need to be plugged to watts. I need to be, I'm trying to be high energy. And so you can't be out and, you got to watch your ass to some degree around there. You feel what I'm saying? And I like being out all the time and getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and going to the store and ain't shit going on. And I didn't got accustomed to just a level of freedom that Memphis just it can't give me because it's too dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Miami don't have no issues. You don't have issues there?
I give you an idea. Your chances of being a victim of a violent crime in, let's say, Fort Lauderdale, where I'm at, is 1 in 1,045. Your chances of being a victim of a violent crime in Memphis is 1 in 43.
Mm-hmm.
Your chances of being a victim of a violent crime after 10 p.m. in Memphis is 1 in 25. You're not gonna live there 5 years and ain't shit gonna happen to you. they gonna knock your window out and take you for something. I mean, it's just part of the game. You feel what I'm saying? And so, I just been grown accustomed to, being out. It's really about going out. Because if 35, 40, 50 even, hey man, you ain't dead, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you still trying to go out and have a drink and not go to the same places all the time, and you trying to still be exploring and out on patios and dipping in this spot, driving across town. You remember when we was young, we used to drive across town half drunk, going to the next spot. Then you would go into a restaurant, a Crystal, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you could order food, and it wasn't dangerous. You remember that?
Yeah.
Going IHOP and just being there to 4. Just
Now you got
enough
to worry
liquor
about the
going.
workers
Yeah,
whooping your ass. I have some
on
close
Perkins.
down.
Yeah, remember the IHOP on Perkins. We used to like that shit still going on. Like we still kicking it like dead, bro. You feel what I'm saying? I gotta be somewhere where that never ended. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, like I'd be out in a hot car at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it felt like I'm talking about when I was in Memphis. It felt like the world was at my feet. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't dangerous. Like you might pull up at the next light. My nephew, he was in Whitehaven one night, and I guess they was staring off at the next car, and he was, I don't know, but they shot through the back of his window, his rear view window. He was in 11th grade when they had 12th grade, just started driving. And just off a look, you know what I'm saying? So, and that was many, many years ago. These days, who knows, but on a consistent basis, being able to be out spot to spot, dancing, hanging, standing out, being out. You can't like we used to be able to pull up somewhere and not have to get back to our car and stand out there for a second, see somebody we know, talk for 20, 30 minutes. You remember that?
Yeah.
You think I'm gonna get up that level of freedom?
To come back to where you constantly looking over your shoulder, so we gotta have eyes in the back of your head.
And the Memphis Safe Task Force, and y'all, it's been pushed to all of that. It ain't worth it. I love Memphis, but I love me. See, that's what folks gotta realize. Who you are ain't, constricted to a place. You feel what I'm saying? So you go where you feel good. If Dallas is where you feel good, if California is where you feel good at, or you feel like it's a level of, but you need freedom, you need peace, you need to be able to live. So while the cost of living may be in a good space, the quality of living is what I'm concerned about. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not dead yet. I don't care. I'm at whatever age, I'm still, the married couples, y'all, they still want to go out. He still want to show his wife a nice time, and she put on a nice outfit. Majority of these people you see on Facebook going, they be on vacation, they fly out and they go. But we should be able to just get up and go out, get dressed and go out, and it not be no trouble. At 35.
Yeah.
And you see, Privé just marked the age group up, right?
Yeah, to 35.
Because they trying to create environments where a person of a certain age and a certain level of accomplishment can go, be comfortable, have a drink, be entertained. And it just shot on that shit down there. You feel what I'm saying? It's short, as opposed to somewhere with a million places that I probably won't even make it to all of them. You can go anywhere, and it's so safe. It's so safe that I have to adjust myself to the locals, because they know nothing about other environments. They live under a veil of safety for so long that a lot of them are beside themselves. They didn't get beside themselves in terms of expecting it to be all good no matter where they go. And leaving keys in cars, and it's just wild, some of the stuff I see. But I have to remember, this person grew up with that level of peace and not knowing anything about a world like mine where I came from. You feel what I'm saying? Like, from the day they were born, they never knew anything, any environment like that. And so they're very different, They're different types of people, because I'm here to decompress, in a sense. I'm here because it's a level of peace for whatever traumatic situations went on in Memphis. But they know nothing of this. They know nothing of this. And so I want that peace. I want that level of relaxation and, still get dressed with your wife or your significant other and just going out painting the town and not having to worry. And then if you need to go back to business or work on Monday, you feel recharged.
Yeah.
But when you sit in the house and
one
sit in
last
the backyard and drink brown liquor all weekend, you're not recharging. Go ahead.
His thing went out again.
Mine went out. Hello?
Up here. Okay, now he's back up. What happened to Moneybags Restaurant? What happened with that restaurant?
I have no
I
idea. I
I
cannot
can't
answer.
think of the name of that restaurant. It's on I don't it ain't even open no more. So I guess it don't matter. It's closed. As a matter, the whole thing closed. I can't think of the name of it. Sage or something. Anyways, Mr. N, I really appreciate you coming on. I know you got to get you something to eat. It is always a ball having you on here.
Thank you.
Well, maybe we'll have you back again when Justice for Dolph has got the ball rolling. It's a damn shame that he had to be the one to get the ball rolling. That's what it was, Cache. Get the ball rolling as it relates to how Barnett, and hopefully with the FBI being involved, um, we and he did a really good job. Hopefully, they coming up on something.
I wish peace for the family and peace to all the people out there watching. It's all love. Thanks again. Y'all will hear from more from me soon. Stay
All
tuned.
right.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. N. Have a good night. Shout out to Mr. N for coming through. He always come through and lace us up. I really appreciate that. Inspire says I could do my own channel. I ain't into Memphis social, Facebook celebrity. I think they waiting on me to talk. Even the damn news. Well, he doesn't control the narrative. The truth does. Don't follow everybody. They may not be a good leader. Shout out to Mr. N for coming through. As always, it's 11:30. No wonder I'm so tired. If it's 11:30 here, that means it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning where he's at. So we appreciate him getting on and staying up this late with us. And he had a very long day, but he still got on. So I really appreciate that. And the people in the chat and that's been listening in, I really appreciate how good everybody has been. We used to have a bunch of damn foods to come up in here, a bunch of old, crusty, rusty foods. But people, like, everybody has really been. I'm talking about. I got some real grown folks up in here. Regardless to whether they like me or not, they stay in their place. They stay in the bushes. Okay, I wouldn't watch nobody that I don't like, but I understand that I'm addictive. So, but even they don't cause no problems. They just stay in the bushes. It's a lot of real grown folks that they be on their real grown folks stuff, because we used to have people that used to try to interrupt us and come in here and trolling, and I guess they already know that my moderator's gonna knock them down on sight, so it ain't even no need in coming up here in here and typing one word when you know you're gonna get blocked. One false move, you blocked. So anyways, you guys, I didn't see Justice for Dolphin here, but he'll probably look at a rerun. But listen, you guys, it is always a pleasure. And I want to say this. Um, Hopefully, I'm praying for peace and justice as it relates to everybody's family. Those families that have loved ones that where there has been some type of injustice, or justice needs to be served in some type of way, where the person was unalived, and the case is cold, the person is missing, and everybody knows that something has happened. People don't just go missing. People make them go missing, or if there's somebody has been wrongly incarcerated, we just pray for justice for all of those people. And I pray for you all to come into agreement with me on there being some type of justice that will reverse whatever results that we're seeing now, for God to reverse that. Okay. Anyways, you guys, I appreciate you all getting on. I want you all to please like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the like button. We only got like 80 something likes, and we had 160 people in here at one time, and we only had 80 likes. That means half of the people did not hit the like button. So at least get me up to 100 likes, you guys. So before y'all get off, y'all run the likes up, because the likes have to keep the video in the algorithm. Run the likes up for me. Let's see how many we got now. We got 90, y'all. I need run the likes up for me. Run the likes up before y'all get off. Y'all hit the like button. I never understood that people come in and listen, but they don't want to hit the like button. That ain't cool. Y'all run the likes up. Those that are still in the bushes, please run the likes up. Let's see how many we got now. Still haven't gotten what I need, but anyway, sure, I'm gonna get off of here because I need to take a shower. I'm so tired. I want you all to please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can hit up the Cash App or the Super Thanks. Yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure. I love you all. Sleep peacefully tonight. And for those of you all that got to work, I pray for traveling grace tomorrow to and fro. In the name of Jesus. I love you all. Have a good night.